Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will discuss about Docker lifecycle, installation of Docker on AWS EC2 Linux instance, and few of the important Docker commands. Docker lifecycle, it has multiple phases of containers such as Docker create, Docker start, Docker stop, Docker run, Docker pause, Docker unpause, Docker remove, Docker kill. These are the different phases of life cycle, Docker life cycle. Docker create command, it's just create the container. Docker start command is the command which starts the container to run. It means the processes inside the containers are kicked off. Docker run command is the combination of Docker create plus Docker start. So we can directly run Docker run command instead of running Docker create and Docker start. Docker stop is used to stop the container. When we run the command docker stop, it terminates all the processes inside the container. But the container will be in the stop state, that is exited state. When we start the container, all the processes will get initialized again inside the container. But when we run docker pause command, all the processes inside the container will be in suspended mode. That means processes will be there, but it will not consume the memory. When we run command docker unpause, all the processes will be released and it will be back to running state. Docker delete command, docker remove command, it will remove whole container. But there is one more command called docker kill command. Docker kill command will kill only the primary processes of the container. Suppose when we were creating a container, we will give the primary processes like slash bin slash bash as a primary process. So when we run docker kill command, it will just kill the primary process of uh, primary processes slash bin slash bash, that is the primary process that will be killed inside the container, but container will be present in the system. That is the difference between docker remove and docker kill command. Might be this explanation is little bit confusing for you friends, but yeah, we will check all these commands practically. For this I have launched a EC2 instance in AWS console. Let me go there. Yeah, this is the EC2 instance, and we will connect to this instance through SSH client. Let me copy the SSH command. Okay, and let's move to the git bash and let's run the command ssh to the EC2 instance. Okay, we are connected to the EC2 instance, and to make all the commands easy for you, I have already mentioned these commands in one of my github page. So I'll share the link of this in the video description. So yeah, we will just go through. First we will switch as a root user. Okay, now we are switch to the root user. Let's run yum update so that all the packages get updated. This is for installing docker on the EC2 Linux instance. Yum install docker. It will install the docker software. To check whether it is installed and the services is running, just run the command docker info. Okay, it is running, but yeah, there are chances uh, where we have to run few more commands like user, adding a user called docker user to the root, and start services. So yeah, might be I have worked on this instance for some testing purposes, hence it is showing like this. But yeah, let me remove Docker and do it from the scratch. Why it is removing the Docker software from the host? Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, it has been removed. Now we will try to install Docker again. Why? Okay, so now run the command docker info. Yeah, it throws this error. So now what we have to do, we have to add the Docker user to the root user because we logged in as a root user. If we logged in as a EC2 user, then yeah, this command will change as user mode -ag docker EC2 user. Now we will start the Docker service using the command service docker start. Let me clear the screen and then run docker info command to check Docker services is running. Perfect. Docker services is running now. But it has, like, as I told, I was testing before. So I have few of the containers. You can see here, right? It will show the container details. So I have two containers already, and those are at stop state. And it gives other informations like networks. So what all networks it supports, bridge network it supports, host networking it supports. So all the details related to the Docker is provided when we run the command docker info. Okay, let me run docker ps and see if containers are there. Okay, there is no container. Docker ps is a command which gives output of only the running containers. To check all the stopped and paused containers, we have to run the command docker ps -a. So these two containers are in stop state. The status column shows exited, so it means they are in stop state. And as I mentioned, docker rm is used to delete the containers. We can delete one by one mentioning the docker container id here, but we have another command. Let me pick it from the docker hub itself. This is the command docker rm $docker ps -aq. With this command, it removes at a time all the stopped containers. So yeah, both the containers are been deleted. Let's run this command again. Okay, perfect. We don't have any containers now. So going back to the GitHub, first is docker create command. So this is an example. Docker create name of the container. Here the container name is demo, and I am pulling the image. Ubuntu. Ubuntu image is not present locally, hence it will go to the docker hub and it fetches. First it will check whether the images is present locally on the host. If not, it will go to the docker hub and then it will pull that image. And bash is the primary processes which I am running inside the container. So let's run this, then check docker ps-a. So you can see here the status telling it is created. So the container is just created, it is not yet started, and the container is not in running state. So if you run docker ps command, there is no container uh, mentioned here. It means like there is, the container is not in running state. When you give -a, it displays the container which is just created. To start this container, we have to run the command docker start followed by container ID or a container name. So here is demo. So the combination of these two command is docker run command. Docker run command is a combination of docker start and docker create and docker start. So we can run directly the docker run command. In some of the versions, this docker start command is throwing some error when we create a container using docker create. But yeah, we can safely run docker run command in that case. So let me run docker run command. Before that, in docker run also we have two types of mode: interactive mode and detached mode. Hyphen it is a interactive mode where it log into the container. It will create the container, it will start the container, and we will log into the container with interactive mode. In the detached mode, it will create the container, it will start the container, but we will not be going inside the container. That is the difference. So let's try to create one more container, docker, demo one container. Perfect. And we logged into the, this is the container id, and we logged into the container. So come out of this container, press Control P, Control Q. We are out. And then run command docker ps hyphen a. Yeah, we can see demo one container is up and running. Let's run command for detached mode. So here we are creating container with the name demo 2. So yeah, we are not logged in into the container, but in the interactive mode we will log in into the container. Let's see if demo 2 is created. Yes, demo 2 is also up and running. Now, to understand docker stops, docker start, docker pause, and docker unpause commands, we have to log in to one of the container and then check the process IDs to make all the commands clear. So before that, I want to introduce two more commands: docker attach and docker exec command. Docker attach command and docker exec command is docker attach. It will just attach, it will allow us to log in into the container, but exec command, it will log in with a secondary process. It is a safe one, but it will log in into the container, but it will be not harming the existing primary process. It will create one more process, bash process. Here I have mentioned a bash process. We can give anything, like can start with python or any other processes. So yeah, let me run those commands here. Docker exec command, I'll just run first. Docker exec hyphen it in an interactive mode. Let me take demo 2 container id, followed by I'm giving this bash as a secondary process. It will enter ps hyphen f. These are the processes it is running. So this pid with 1, this is the bash process. This is the primary process which is created when we have created the container, and pid with 9 is the bash which we have started when we have given this docker exec command, and this ps hyphen ef is the process which we have run for the checking the processes. Let me come out of this container, control p, control q. Now when we run docker attach followed by the container id, it will just log in into the container, but it will not harm. Sometimes it takes some time to display the process here, but yeah, as I mentioned, docker attach is just, it will log in into the container, but it will not harm the primary processes. Here this pid with 1, this is the primary process, bash process, and this is the secondary pid 9 is the secondary process which we have given in the exec command. So with attach docker attach command, it will not affect any of the processes, neither the primary process nor the other processes. But docker exec is the safest one. Exec command is the safest one because it will log in into the container, plus it will start a secondary container. So yeah, it's depend on the use cases. We can use both the commands, docker attach and docker exec. This is the main difference between these two commands. Okay, docker ps hyphen a. There are total two containers up and running, and one container is in created state. Let me clear the screen. Fine. Now let's stop one of the container, or I can quickly log in to one of the container exec command. Yeah, I just logged in into the demo2 container ps hyphen ef. So this is the output of the processes. So we can see, right, one more bash processes is been created because we have executed exec command, and yeah, this is the new process which has come up. Let's come out of this container, control p control q, and then we will stop this container with the command docker stop followed by container id. Let's give couple of seconds to stop the container. Okay, let's run ps-a command. We can see the status, it is in exited state, demo2 container. Now let's start this container with the command docker start followed by container id. Okay, it has been started. Now let's see the status of the container again. Yes, perfect, it is up and running now. 4 seconds back. Let's log in into the container by the command exec. Then again see the process. So you can compare the output of these, the highlighted one above and the current ps hyphen ef output. So now I will explain what is the difference between when we run docker stop and docker start. Previously, when before running docker stop command, we had these processes, one with PID 1, then PID 9, 19, and 27. So, and you can see the timestamps. It was at around 1150, and here you can see the timestamp. It is 1156. So it means when we stop the container and start the container, all the processes get started again. It will not retain the previous state of the processes. All the processes will, when we stop it, all the processes inside the container get terminated, and when we start it, all the processes inside the container starts freshly. That is the difference. Now we will come out of this container, control p control q, and then we will run the command docker pause followed by the container id. Sorry, let me pick up the container id here. Okay, copy and then paste. It has been paused. Let's see the status. ps hyphen, it has been paused. Okay. Okay, this container is paused. Now we will unpause the container. Unpause. Let's see the status again. Yes, it has got unpaused. But if you see here, when I paused it and then unpaused it, let me, so you can see the times up 2 minutes ago, up 2 minutes ago. So it has not restarted the container. Only the processes inside the container was suspended mode, and when I ran the command unpause, those processes got released from the memory and they are back in running state. Okay, so when we stop the container, the status will come as exited, but when we pause the container, the status will be showing it is container is up but it is in paused state. So it means the inside the process, they were in suspended form, and with the same process id, when we run the command unpause, it will get memory get released and they are back in running format. So we can run exec command and see those timestamp, those will be of the previous timestamp. So let's run this command and then run the command this. So yeah, if you see here, those timestamp earlier it was 11:56 timestamp only, right? So these all the processes are the same processes, previous processes, and when we paused this, they are just suspended mode, and we have unpaused it, they got released from the memory and they are back in running format. So process id will not change, but when we run stop and start commands, then the process id are freshly created, they are newly created. That is the difference. And all these commands are available in my github page, so that it will be helpful for you. And let me show this command as well. ps fxa grep docker. Let me come out of this container, control p control q, and then let's see what all are running. Two processes are, two containers are running. Let's give the command this one. So yeah, this gives the three lines of the container. So here this docker d is the daemon process which is running. Apart from that, we have all the, let me, yeah, this container d shim, these are the processes which at the backend containers are running. I'll not deep dive much into this, but yeah, to just make a note of this, container D shim is a backend process which will help the containers to be up and running. So we have two containers running. So yeah, there those two process ID are displayed here. The Docker D is the daemon process which is running, and there should be a two process for bash. So this is one bash, and I think yeah, one more should be there, but yeah, it's not displaying. So we have mentioned only three lines, so then yeah, that's why it's not giving much details here. Yeah, to troubleshoot we can give, like, no, instead of 3 5 or anything, yeah, it gives more details here. Hope this video is helpful for you friends. Please comment if you have any doubt so that I can come back and work on those things, and then yeah, I will be more happy to help you. Thanks for watching.